They told me to wait patiently, but just when she was about to let her thoughts flow, her pager went off again, the ultimate mood killer. This time around, Ella's eyes were as resolute as radar, and she decisively made a decision worthy of being recorded in history. This highly anticipated date turned out to be absolutely perfect, just like a freshly baked pizza. However, time flies like ants on a hot stove. Ella had to set off again, declaring she'd be back in the teen days. As they were about to part, Nick suddenly posed a question about Napoleon to Ella, just as he extended his hand for a farewell handshake. Ella gave him an unexpected sweet kiss, filling Nick with joy as if the universe celebrated for him. Yet, she didn't notice the overhead camera. Back in the terminal, Nick suddenly had a romantic epiphany, deciding to turn the wall next to the sink into a grand surprise just for Ella. With his extraordinary skills, he poured his heart into it, carving love into every little detail as if each brick was inscribed with his feelings for Ella. The teen days zipped by, and Ella returned right on time, but the moment she stepped through security, she was invited elsewhere by the staff. Nick eagerly awaited their reunion, only to be met with disappointment. He thought, how could this be the ending? This made him feel quite puzzled, and he couldn't help but ask, "Who exactly are you? Can't you understand?" "Yes. Do you want to hear the most hilarious part? I've lost him. I came here to tell you he's alive, I'm free, even though I feel a little broken-hearted. But hey, that's the real liberation." After a few quick words, she turned to leave, and Nick shot over like a rocket to stop her. Nick chased after her as if his heart was sprinting on a treadmill of love. He brought Ella to a hidden spot, and as the scene opened up, 1,000 fountains sparkled. See, it was breathtaking. Ella was awestruck, but puzzled. She had no idea who Nick really was or why he ended up in New York. She was dying to know why he had been waiting at the registration desk for 9 months, while Nick quietly pulled out a jar of peanuts containing a precious band photo. This was actually her father's heirloom. He spent 40 years to collect it. Sadly, he died before getting the final signature. The musician is now in NYC. Nick vowed to her father to realize this dream. Ella was deeply moved by Nick's sincerity, as if her heart was being played by his melody. The two hearts blended in an instant. One early morning, Nick awoke from a delightful dream, only to discover that Ella had disappeared without a trace. However, his friends brought him some thrilling good news. Her homeland was finally at peace. Everyone gathered around to celebrate Nick, and the joyous atmosphere was like a wild party. Just as the celebration was in full swing, Ella suddenly popped up, and everyone was more excited than seeing a celebrity. She handed Nick a letter, and he realized he was finally free to head toward New York City. Yet, freedom often comes with some bittersweet strings, as if everyone knew what fate had in store. Hey, did you know? The wedding gift from Nick to Dorette was a golden miracle. Ultimately, Ella firmly made the choice to return to the old guy, while Nick resolutely determined to chase after his own future. So, they looked at each other with smiles on their faces and said, "You go ahead and chase after your future, while I'll step forward to face my destiny." Subtitles, however, he currently has to pull himself together as he is confronted with a challenging issue. Given that this was merely an emergency visa valid for just 1 day, obtaining the supervisor's signature was absolutely essential. However, the supervisor had now been promoted to the high and mighty customs chief, sending shivers down his spine. The supervisor agreed to let Nick go back home, but flatly refused him entry into New York. Nick was not one to easily back down. His father's wish loomed heavy like a mountain. He had never wavered in his commitment to Ella, firmly revealing his intentions to the supervisor. The supervisor, seeing Nick's determination, casually flipped through some files, trying to find a threat to leverage against him. This guy had the inside scoop on the office infiltrators and footage of the delivery guy sneaking into the kitchen. If he exposed it, it would be a serious threat to the crew's jobs. Moreover, the supervisor had dirt on the janitor's dark past. This janitor had been wanted since 1979, back when he had zero sense of decorum. Driven to the brink by local corrupt cops, this warrior had fled to work as a janitor at the airport. He had been here for a whopping 23 years, leaving Nick completely flabbergasted. Nick had to give up on entering New York, but everyone else was completely oblivious. They felt Nick should stand up bravely and fight back. After all, he had worked hard for this. Just then, the security guards who once supported the supervisor couldn't stand by anymore and quietly tipped off the janitor. Suddenly, all of the security guards started rushing towards the door. Nick couldn't help but shiver in fear as he saw the janitor, all by himself, running towards the plane while holding a worn-out mop. Perhaps the janitor's courage moved the heavens. He actually stopped the plane, heading home after 23 years of waiting. Even though he was getting on in years, he was as stubborn as ever. Subtitles. She was brimming with passion in her heart, as if that enthusiastic little boy had never truly left her at all. Nick turned around and strolled back to the hall, his heart filled with determination, ready to leave the airport that had trapped him for now. The shopkeepers dropped their tasks and rushed over with food and essentials, hoping to help him escape the airport. The supervisor, furious, turned red in the face and ordered the guards to block the door. Surprisingly, the security captain was moved by Nick's courage, willing to face punishment to let him through. Folks, a quick reminder, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to click that subscribe button below. See, more exciting content is waiting for you.